Greetings. This is Aruna Chandran, and I'm delighted to welcome you to this course entitled The Role of Epidemiology in Public Health. This course has the following learning objectives. We will describe the history of public health and epidemiology as scientific disciplines. We will explain the 10 essential public health services, and then aim to understand the public health governance structure in the United States. Finally, we will use a competency assessment tool to assess the abilities of components of the public health workforce to achieve the 10 essential public health services. In this section, we will define epidemiology. First, let's take a step back and think about what public health is. Public health has been defined as the science and art of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health through the organized efforts and informed choices of society, organizations, public and private communities, and individuals. Note that there are influences at the broader societal and community levels as well as the individual level. You will see examples of public health at each of these levels throughout this course. The World Health Organization followed up with an alternate definition of public health, which says that public health aims to provide maximum benefit for the largest number of people. They hone in on the bottom line of what public health aims to do, which is to improve the health of communities at large. In this slide, we show a framework put forth by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation in 2014 about the management of population health. At the top of this framework, you see the two components that comprise health outcomes. These are the length of life, or life expectancy, but equally important, the quality of life. These are influenced by a number of health factors, and most people hone in on the second factor, which is clinical care. And certainly, access to care and quality of care matter a lot when you think about these health outcomes. However, from this framework's perspective, that comprises only 20% of what is needed to achieve optimal health outcomes. Another 30% is comprised of health behaviors. These are individual-level behaviors, such as use of tobacco, diet and exercise, or alcohol or substance use. But still, combining these only makes up 50% of our health outcomes. Where public health focuses is in the additional 50%. 40% of that are comprised of social and economic factors. These are what we call the social determinants of health: education, employment, income, and other such factors. An additional 10% are made up of our physical environment, such as the quality of the air we breathe or the water we drink, and the type of housing we live in and how we move from place to place. Putting these together is what is required to achieve optimal health outcomes of length of life as well as quality of life, and this is where public health aims to focus on this broader, holistic level, looking at the health of populations and communities. Now, epidemiology is one of the sciences within the broader umbrella of public health. Epidemiology is comprised of three components: epi, which is on or upon; demos, people; and logos, the study of. And thus the definition of epidemiology is the study of the distribution and determinants of health-related states or events in specified population, and the application of this study to the control of health problems. As mentioned, epidemiology is a core component of public health. So let's take a moment now to preview the exercise for this course. The Public Health Foundation of the United States provides core competencies for all public health professionals. They define these as a set of skills desirable for the broad practice of public health that professionals may want to possess as they work to protect and improve the nation's health. They go on to say that these core competencies offer a starting point for public health professionals in identifying professional development needs and developing training plans. They provide an assessment tool to see whether the workforce in question meets these core competencies or has the capability to complete these core competencies. The assessment tool is divided into 3 parts by tiers based on the level of responsibility that an individual would hold in a public health organization. Tier 1 applies to frontline or entry-level staff. Tier 2 is comprised of program management or supervisory staff, and Tier 3 is the senior management or executive-level staff in a public health organization. So what are the skills related to epidemiology that are required to achieve the core competencies put forth by the Public Health Foundation? Some of the examples that I pulled from the assessment tool are as follows. For Tier 1 staff, individuals should know how to describe how public health sciences, including epidemiology, are used in the delivery of public health, to identify data that can be used for assessing the health of a community, and to contribute to the public health evidence base. For Tier 2 staff, the goal is to understand how to analyze validity, reliability, and comparability of data, and to assess community health status as well as factors that influence health in a community. And for Tier 3 staff, required epidemiologic skills include the ability to ensure that ethical principles are applied in accessing, collecting, analyzing, using, maintaining, and disseminating data, the ability to resolve gaps in data, and to determine trends from both qualitative as well as quantitative data. This comprises the essential skills of epidemiology that all public health practitioners should possess.